Good morning and welcome to this live stream, which is all about Year 6 teaching this summer. And this live stream is targeted at the teachers who've got Year 6 classes and they are a bit chaotic and they are thinking for themselves, what should I do to make best use of this precious time we've got before they go to secondary school to get them properly ready. So if you've already got a plan, if your school is telling you precisely what to do and you're not empowered to vary from that, this video is not for you. Focus on things that are more relevant to you. This is for the teachers who think for themselves, think on their feet all the time. I'm in Cumbria today, where I live between Liverpool and Cumbria, which is why I'm not in my Rebecca the Maths Lady studio. But in Cumbria, more than half our schools have mixed year classes, and the teachers who teach them are always on their own. It's always one mixed year classes and they're all different from each other. So we have all these teachers who always have to think from themselves. And the professional development I run has come from that tradition. And they know lots of things that it's been an absolute privilege to learn to share. So as ever in this series, we have a 5 tips sheet, 5 priorities, which you'll find a link to in the description of this video. If you're on a laptop, you might not be able to find it on a phone. So if you can't find it, you can go to my Authentic Maths website, go into Rebecca the Maths Lady's worksheets and you'll find it there. So priority number 1 is let's teach multiplication and division again. And the reason for doing the multiplication is that at this stage you can link together so many elements of multiplication through array. You've got the mental multiplication where children are thinking organically about their own strategies for doing calculations like this. And then you can look at long multiplication. That's an introduction to long multiplication worksheet. All these worksheets are on the Authentic Maths Rebecca the Maths Lady worksheets download page. They're all free. And then in the long multiplication, you can do the formal long multiplication, but you can draw on here precisely how you're doing it. It really connects and deepens understanding. And then, oh my goodness, if I got myself into a position here where I've not got a pen. Oh, here we go. Here's one. You can move straight on to multiplication of fractions. Happy pet day to you too. Thank you. And so you can do interim steps of something like 4.5 times 4.5. That's not beyond the primary curriculum, but if you do it as an array, it's quite easy to count those square parts. And then you can work on to multiplication of fractions. So that's something like 2/3 times 3/4. So we split a square into thirds one way and quarters the other way. And 2/3 times 3/4 is going to be that much. 2/3 times 3/4. So it is 6 out of 12, which is half, but you can deeply see it. So it's worth reviewing multiplication and connecting together all the multiplication children have done at primary school through array. And then with division, sorry, I should have explained again, where have I put it? In this tip sheets, there are links to specific videos that explain each of these teaching points. So as we go on to division, you want to recap short division, recap the 6 ways of treating remainders of division, and then make sure you're flowing straight on into 2-digit division. And because we have no SATs this summer, we don't have to, worry about long division. We can do the 2-digit division as short division if we want. It's up to you. And as usual, there is a video that explains all of this in much more depth. So teach multiplication and division again. Tip 1, very thoroughly, very fast. With all of these things, if you've got children who are just flying, you just set them some work so they can prove they're flying and then move them on to problem solving stuff. And I'm recommending the Gareth Metcalf's IC problem solving and IC reasoning. Make sure you go through to the end of each section to get the challenging problems. If you're at the beginning of the section, they'll be far too easy for those children who've flown through these. So multiplication division. Number 2, teach the proportion bar. So there's been a lot of talk in recent years about bar modelling. There's actually 2 types of bar modelling. One where the sizes of the bars are free to represent the sizes of the quantities in them, and one where the ends of the bars are controlled, so the size of one is always the same, and that's the proportion bar. That's the one I'm talking about here, and it becomes effectively a fraction wall, but it can also be used for percentages and ratios and decimals if you want. And by modelling all of those topics with the proportion bar, you can connect them all together. So for example, you could see that a ratio 1 to 4 is about finding 1/5 and 4/5 of something, because it's exactly the same model as it should be, because all those topics are proportion. So do some work to make sure that children understand the proportion bar and are connecting all that maths together. So that's number 2. Number 3 is circular proportion. So we're running into pie charts here, but we want to spend some time making sure that children can draw circles with pairs of compasses. There's a video that explains all this. And making sure that they can recognise and work with fractions in circles. So here we have a third. Thank you. Maybe we will, and maybe you will. Sorry, just taking comments there. And of course, you can always ask me questions live. So a third of a circle. At this stage in year 6, we want children to begin to think about what this angle is. So a third of a circle is going to be a third of 360. So we need to divide 360 by 3. If you can get children instantly recognising that fraction is a third and knowing that it's 120 degrees, that's fabulous. And they should know that a quarter is a right angle, and that's 90 degrees. They should know their half turns, 180, and they should become familiar with 3/4 being 270. So you want to do these calculations often. Beyond that, knowing that a 1/6 is 60 degrees is completely fabulous. What would a 1/10 be? Oh, what would an 1/8 be? An 1/8 is a nice one because it relates to compass bearings as well. So if I just turn that round, if we're going, that's north and that's northeast, if children know that an 1/8 is half of a right angle, so it's 45 degrees, and they can really picture it, they will remember it because of the picture of it being half a right angle, 45 degrees. And then they can start to relate compass directions to compass bearings when they come across that topic. So a 1/6, as I said, is 60 degrees. A 1/10, what would a 1/10 of a circle be? Well, that'd be 36 degrees. And so a 1/5 as 2/10 is going to be 2 lots of 36 degrees. So that'll be 72. And a 12th is a really nice one. Got some 12ths here somewhere, I think. Perhaps not. There we go, 12th. What's a 12th of a circle? Well, it's the 90 degrees split into 3, because 4 lots of 3 is 12. 90 degrees split into 3 is 30 degrees. And if they're starting to make these links between topics, they're going to have deep understanding. And then when we come to work on pie charts, they're going to recognise in pie charts those crucial angles that are specific fractions. So they're going to be able to work with pie charts. So as ever, there is a video that explains about teaching children to draw circles and understand circles and work with pie charts at this kind of level. Tip 4 is to teach algebraic notation. Of course, there's a video on that, but here's the key worksheet. We've got some standard algebraic expressions. We can give children 2 small numbers, so every child can evaluate these expressions if they understand what they are. And the purpose of doing that is to check their understanding of this. And then you can give them 2 hard numbers. They might be 2 fractions, 2 decimal numbers, 2 very large numbers, or a very large number and a small number. Can they still evaluate these? And then if they can do this, instead of checking their algebra, they're really exploring the whole of primary calculation and also bits of secondary calculation that they haven't done yet. It is fine for them to identify that they can't do something because they haven't yet done the maths, and that's coming at secondary school. So if you had 2 fractions, when you get to dividing a fraction by a fraction, they haven't done that yet. That's coming. They might want to explore it and think about it. So do some algebraic notation and then the applied work. Well, there's a couple of key bits of applied work that it's incredibly valuable to do this summer. And the most important one is measure and measure conversions. Because the most powerful way to learn measure is to experience it. And that's the kind of thing that's quite easy for you to do in the primary classroom, where you've got access to all the primary school resources and your children can work flexibly together and you're not constrained to a specific lesson time. When they're doing measure conversions, it's most powerful if they've got really visual, multisensorial experiences of the different measures and how they connect to each other to underpin their learning of the conversion facts and their application of them. As always, there's lots of nice videos and worksheets. There's a conversion facts memory worksheet. They will just benefit so much from having done this. And the other topic that I would prioritise in applied maths is volume and surface area of cuboids and nets. Again, it's practical work, it's great fun, really, really powerful learning, and all the things you need are there for you. So, 5 priorities. Maybe you can spend a week or 2 on each. If you spend 2 weeks on each, then you've got plenty of time for interruptions. You can still have a really good go at each topic. Beyond that, there are... Oh, yeah, I didn't explain this is year 6, but it's also mixed year 5-6. In Cumbria, we've got a lot of mixed year classes, and they teach more instead of the small steps way, teaching different things for different years, more as apprentice and expert. So it does all fit together beautifully. So if you're able to go beyond this and look at the whole curriculum and try and cover it, there are curriculum and planning documents for both year 6 and mixed year 5-6. So the year 6 is just the national curriculum extract, but it's coded so that it's cross-linked to the planning guide, where I've got a term per page planning guide which is cross-linked back to the curriculum, would look something like this with these codes telling you which bits are covered, so you can see it's all covered. And the mixed year 5-6 curriculum, a lot of mixed year teachers find useful. I've just reintegrated the curriculum by topic area so you can see what's in each year. And again, it's cross-linked to the mixed year 5-6 planning document. All of those are at authenticmaths.co.uk/worksheets. Have I covered everything in this one? Yeah, I think so. So that's the completion of the tips if you've got a chaotic class post-lockdown, how to prioritise teaching that I've done over the last 7 weeks. They're all in a series on my YouTube channel now, which is Rebecca the Maths Lady. If you haven't subscribed to it, please subscribe so you can find it again. And if you go to playlists or videos, you see things organised in a better way. Next week, I've got some more fantastic worksheets by Jeff Kutcher to explore. He's done some beautiful visual worksheets for Year 2 children on 2-digit addition and subtraction, but in a really visual way. Thank you. Okay, have a good Sunday. Take care. Bye for now.